Hi, loves. So it's Jillian with Oracle and Alchemy. Please excuse the echo in here. I'm in studio and I just did this whole thing with a microphone, and the microphone, like, something was robotic and weird about it. So I'm redoing it, and it's going to be a little echoey for this whole video. So apologies for the not great sound. But I'm recording this video because some of you had asked me to record a video on how I pull cards in the morning, pull oracle or tarot. My divination practice, as it were. So I wanted to share a little bit of a video with you on how to do that. If you haven't been to Oracle and Alchemy, we are a yoga and healing sanctuary in the heart of Chicago, in the Witches Corridor, I like to call it, on Belmont. And our studio is not just focused on the spiritual practice of yoga. I am a Kundalini teacher, but also we have every other modality of yoga here as well. It is a physical practice, but also a spiritual practice, as I think it's intended to be, at least in my realm. So it is a spiritual studio and it's a healing sanctuary. So we have all sorts of different healing practices. I am a Reiki master. We have Reiki here. We also have more ritualistic classes, spiritual Sundays, where we have Dharma talks, we have witch classes and pagan classes, celebrating the cycles of nature and of the earth and the moon and all of those wonderful things. And behind me is an altar, right? We have an altar with all sorts of different things on it. Because it's really a space to tap in to what spirit is for us. So if you have been in the realm of a religious practice that didn't work for you, right, we then usually deny spirit, deny our soul connection to the divine creative. And this place is really meant for you to tap back into that, because that is where your power and your authentic voice lie. So recognizing that without your physical body, you are the energy of all things. And what a beautiful thing. We welcome in anyone who's religious, anyone who's not religious, all of the good stuff. So, but we do oftentimes in our morning practice, we have a sadhana practice every morning. We oftentimes will use cards, whether it's oracle or tarot, something to kind of receive that divination, right? That divining, where you're connecting with messages from the greater, right? The source. So I have a little bit of a different practice in the morning in my own ritual at home. And many of you asked me if I would go over that, so you have kind of like an understanding. This being said, recognize that I am no authority, right? It's not because I'm doing it correctly or right. It's because this is the way that I am called to do it. And I'm sharing it with you, so maybe you can take some of these tools or some of these little intricacies and add them to how you do it or not, right? It's no big deal. We're here to find what works for us and tap into our own source as we connect with the greater. And so whatever that is for you, allow that to be your freedom. This isn't a video, so you can be like, well, that's not the way I do it, or that's not the right way to do it. There isn't a right way. And the way you do it is the right way, right? So just a little bit of a tip there. So I have oracle cards today. Sometimes we use tarot. Tarot is a little more intense of a message, a little more intense of what to do and what not to do on your spiritual path, on your life path, on your soul path, on your body, whatever it is, right? And tarot also requires more of a lifetime study of knowledge, whereas oracle cards, right, usually have like a very clear message. It's very in your face. There isn't a lot of questioning. It's more of like a guide for you to sort of frame your day or frame the next phase of your life or what have you. So I have an oracle deck here. This is the Star Seed Oracle. This is what it looks like. And the cards are really great because they have messages on them. Like this one says, the cosmic heart, devotion, potency, make your life a moving prayer. Excuse me. And so you can see at the bottom, it has like a message on it. I don't know why it's not focusing, because it's going to be difficult. There we go. So it has like a message on it. And so there are all these really special, beautiful, cosmic kind of cards. So I have an oracle deck here, and that comes with the book too, if you want to like get into the deeper meaning of the card. I have a crystal. I usually have selenite at home. This is banded agate, so it's like a protector and like a good harmonizing, receiving of spiritual messages kind of crystal. And if you don't believe in crystals and you're like, that's all woo, that's okay. But remind yourself that like a coffee bean has energy, so like a crystal for sure does. So, and then I have in my cauldron, I always have my cauldron, so I kind of like a heat protector in, right, if I need it. I have a couple different sacred smoke items. I have a cinnamon stick, which is a really great protector, as you use it in your space. And then I have sage. This is stems from my garden sage that I grew last year. You can just pull the leaves off, dry the stems, and then use the stems as your own sacred smoke. And then I have this white sage here. This was gifted to me. I don't recommend buying white sage. It is sacred to Native peoples. And so would rather not destroy the earth and use all of the sacred smoke that they use for their spiritual practices. But this was gifted to me, and I do honor the person that gave it to me. So anyway, so I have these three different things. I call them sacred smoke. I do not use the term smudge for the same reason that Native American First Nations people, that's a term that they use for their spiritual practices, and I like to honor them and what they do and recognize that what I'm doing is different, right? And then I have a candle here. In the morning, I usually light 3 wicks, one for Ganesh, one for Lakshmi, and one for myself. So this is in honor of your own light. If you want to light a candle for yourself, it's also helpful, so you can just use, if your sacred smoke goes out, you can just use it. Use the candle to relight it. So I have those tools in front of me. I always come into a little bit of sacred space in the morning. Just bringing my hands together at heart center and rubbing them vigorously, closing my eyes, taking my internal gaze to my third eye, and gently stilling my hands. And here I take a few breaths, nice and slow and deep, coming into my own being, my own physical being, the center of my being, my spirit, my heart space. And staying within, I take those cards and I place them between my hands. And I feel the energy of the cards, and I send my energy into the cards. Generally speaking, I Reiki them, right? Because I'm a Reiki healer, so I will Reiki my cards as well. And then here's where I tap into the divine creative. I call on the Great Mother, Mama Earth, right? If you have any other mother or goddess you like to call in, I call into the 4 corners, the east, the south, the west, and the north. Father Sky for protecting and watching over me, Grandmother Moon for reminding me that everything is a cycle of life, death, birth, and rebirth. And Grandfather Sun for always showing up every day in accordance with your own light shining upon us. To my guides, Raven, Bear, Hawk, Snake, and Spider, for leading me down the path that I'm meant to be on, with clarity, with resilience, and with recognition of the truth that lies ahead of me. Not being afraid to take the next step within my own spirit, calling on my own honest heart, my own honest energy, the above light, the above expansiveness, and the below shadow, recognizing I'm held in both. And as I keep these cards within my hands, I ask for all of the honesty and the delivering of clear messages to come through. And then I'll take the cards and I'll place them in my non-dominant hand. And I'll take that sacred smoke. Today I'll use my cinnamon. If you haven't used cinnamon, it's a really great house cleanser if you need to smoke out your house, right? So I'll take my cinnamon, if I can get it lit here. And then I'll take my cards and I will go counterclockwise around the cards. I usually do this 3 times, right? Asking to remove any negativity or any confusing messages or any messages that are coming through from anything other than divine light and love. So I'll usually do that 3 times around my cards, right? Nice and slow. I just did that 6 because I remind the law of 3. And then I take my crystal, right? Place it in my hand, and then I'll go clockwise around the cards. 3 times, inviting in all the crystal clear messages and protecting these cards with divine source, with love and light, as I receive the messages of truth, tapping 3 times. And then as I shuffle the cards, I keep my eyes closed and I tell spirit or what have you, whatever it is for you, what I'm going to be doing with the cards, right? If I'm pulling 1 card and why, if I'm pulling 2, 3, and on and on and on. In Oracle, you'll pull, just a couple. In Tarot, you might pull up to 10 or even more. And so today, with my eyes closed, I am letting the divine know that I'm pulling these cards, 1 for what I need right now and 1 for what I need to let go. I pull 2 cards today, 1 for what I need right now, 1 for what I need to let go of. I pull 2 cards today, 1 for what I need right now, 1 for what I need to let go of. And so on and so forth as you shuffle through the cards, right, until you feel like they're shuffled enough. And then this is different than a lot of what people do. You can spread them on the floor. I usually just spread them in my dominant hand here with my eyes closed still. And I'll just run my hand, my non-dominant hand, over the cards, right? That non-dominant hand being more sensitive to receiving energy. And I'll stop when I feel the energy kind of highlighted. And I'll kind of feel around for that card that's calling me. Staying with my eyes closed, I place that card down, not needing to look at it just yet. And then maybe moving through the cards. Until I find that unique energy. And taking out that other card. And then I can place the cards to the side. And here I have in front of me, right, 2 cards. In Oracle, if you ever get an upside down one, I usually just turn it right side up. It's very rare in Oracle that you read it reversed, right? It usually has a very clear message for you. In Tarot, if you were to receive reversed cards, in a 1 to 3 card spread, I use intuition there, if the card was meant to be upside down. Or you can just read it matter-of-factly, but I do think intuition comes into these readings very deeply. So here I have 2 cards in front of me. I remember soul plan, the fated life versus destiny life, right? This is the card that I need right now. I remember soul plan, the fated life versus the destiny life, right? What is my fate, right? This beautiful card here. The focus is like not the best, but and then what I don't need is the weight of the world. Boundaries, let it go. It is not yours to carry, right? So pretty loud messages received. It's kind of the whole point of why I have this sacred practice or this ritual. If I do pull cards, you can just shuffle them and pull them like many people do, and that's totally okay. This for me is a sacred moment, a sacred practice, and so I like to do all the things so I feel like I receive the clearest messages. Being clear that I don't do this every day, right? I think that we can spiritually bypass a lot if we are like, I can't live my life until I have the messages from the cards, right? We receive messages from ourselves and our own intuition every day, and that is your connection to divinity as well. Cards are just a way to divine, right? To converse with the divine and receive messages that you might not be hearing, that you might need to hear, that you haven't been noticing, and to just kind of help step into a more clear picture for the day, for the week, for the year, whatever it is that you're doing the reading for, right? So if I'm doing just a daily reading, it's just kind of like, hey, what do I need to know that maybe I'm not paying attention to? This is like, hey, don't forget about your soul path and your fate, and remembering why you're here and letting go of those things that don't serve you, setting those boundaries and remembering what isn't yours to carry, that you don't have to carry it. So it's pretty cool. It's a special way to kind of start the morning and be in practice and sacred space with you and the divine and the energy of goodness and light all around you. And then I would usually journal or meditate or anything with the messages from these cards. So you asked for me to share, and so I'm just sharing a little bit about what that looks like every morning. Sometimes we do this in our earth practice in the morning at the studio. But know that you have the freedom to apply whatever works for you and your own intuition and your own sacred knowledge of how to have your own ritual morning practice. So that's just a little bit about how I do it. If you're ever in Chicago, if you don't live here already, come see us at 2916 West Belmont at Oracle and Alchemy. We are a very unique studio, very dedicated to the 8 limbs of yoga, but also in that very spiritual place of recognizing how we lift and rise into our truth, the center of our being, so that we can be that beacon of light or carry that lantern forward to shine light on the truth of other people's paths and help them. So that's it. With love, I hope all of you have a beautiful day until I see you again. Bye. Sat Nam.